Three, two, one. All right, let's get going. Okay, looks like we're live. Welcome, Jace Cover. Welcome around the world in 30 days. Good to see everybody here. I'm excited to do another round of this Garbage Pail Kids. So let me show everybody what we're working on today. So this is one of the Garbage Pail Kids that I decided I wanted to make a sculpture of. And I think it would also be good for 3D printing too. So scared you with the countdown there, huh? All right. Uh, so yeah, and it's also like a really good foundation for a lot of the Garbage Pail Kids. Like obviously they all have like kind of different bodies and faces and stuff, but if you wanted to take this one and modify it to be a lot of the other ones, you could definitely do that. Hey, Ek and Maya. All right, so let's just go ahead and jump into it. Let's see, if I remember correctly, last week there was some issue with the fingers I was working out and getting those attached to the hand. And then, yeah, I was gonna ZRemesh the body, I think. Yeah, yeah, that's what I was gonna do. And then I'd have like, well, the head is obviously like a really clear separation between the head and the body, so I'll probably leave those two separate meshes. But then, I think for posing it might be a little. You know what? Actually, I'm gonna make the legs separate as well. It'll just make it easier, I think. Hopefully. I don't know. Maybe it'll turn out more difficult in the end. Who knows? All right, so let's get down to it. Feel free to ask me any questions in the chat. If you've got any questions about ZBrush, I'm right here. Um, or anything else interesting going on. You guys know my favorite topic in the whole world is AI and how it's either going to save us or destroy us, so we can talk about that. Question from Cypress Philip. Is this on a computer or a real sculpture? I assume you're making a joke. All right, so let's see. What was I doing last time on the fingers? I was trying to get them, I was cutting them off so that I could then like bridge a hole between the hand and the fingers. And I think before I do that, I'm going to Dynamesh together the upper body, and I think I'll do the legs separate as well. All right, so let me just plan this out a little bit. AI is here to help us, says Jace Cover. Yep. So, what makes you say that AI is here to help us, Jace Cover? Just curious. Curious to hear other people's perspectives. All right, so I'm gonna try to separate these body parts by like what's feet and what's upper body. You guys can't see my interface because I've got it spread out onto other monitors. So sometimes you're not going to be able to see what I'm doing with like folders and subtools and stuff. Just trying to organize things a little bit. Let's see, where are my toes? Okay, cool. Do I have any knowledge about ZBrush for iPad? The only thing I know is they talked about it at the last ZBrush Summit, and that is all I know. I wonder if you could say the same thing about humans, Robin Hutchins. Like, are humans great until we become self-aware? Well, the Terminator himself was self-aware, as we all know at the end of Terminator 2. a robot could learn the value of human life. So, or a Terminator even, just because some kid whined at him and told him to stop killing people. Yep, exactly my point, Robin Hutchins. Well, humans, we do good things and we do bad things, I guess. All right. You guys feel free to philosophize in the chat. I'm going to try to get these fingers attached. Oh, I keep forgetting to get the hand in part of, as part of that Boolean union. Where did the hands go? Nope, those are in the wrong group. Okay, now maybe this will work. Yeah, the Caribbean animation industry is really small, as we know from our mutual friend, Coretta Singer. Okay, maybe this will work this time. Okay, cool. Looking good. It's a nifty button called Polish Group Border, um, which I made, which takes, you might notice, these it's kind of rough edges and it kind of like smooths them out so that when I go to ZRemesh by Polygroup, it should create a cleaner result. Okay, so now what I can try to do is cut some holes on the end of this hand that correspond to the fingers. And then hopefully we can just attach them without too much trouble. So I'm just masking out where that connection would be and cutting it out. And now let's merge those fingers into there. Hey, Nyman. Welcome to the live stream. All right, let's go ahead and get these fingers attached. I'm gonna move them out a little bit. Actually, they're kind of like sunk inside. Wait a minute. Oh, I did the wrong ones. I had these other fingers that were already cut open. All right, hold on a sec. Split that apart and get the other fingers. Okay, now I think it's gonna work. I'm not Jared, but I guess I'm glad you like my work, even though they mixed up the name of the live stream yet again. It is Ryan Lavender. All mixed up indeed. All right, now let's smooth out the transition between these fingers and the hand. Oh no, it happened to, what? Why did it fuse? Oh, you know what I think? Oh, come on. This happened last time too. I'll try to undo back to, let's see, is it, okay. You know what I think the problem is some of the Z modeler functions, like bridge two holes, it'll actually go and merge together any verts that are overlapping in other parts of the model, which is really annoying. So what I have to do is like come here and like separate them a little bit, make sure there's a little air gap because otherwise it'll merge them together. I think even just the tiniest little movement should be enough. I think there's already an air gap there. Is it just me? Do they mess up everybody's live stream name or is it just me? That's what I want to know. Does this happen with other streamers? Every time to other streamers or every time to me? So it happens every time to me, that's for sure. Okay, so looks like there's just like one kind of little problem area here, which when I try to ZRemesh by polygroups, is probably going to give me trouble. It doesn't like long, thin, pointy areas. And so I'm going to try to continue um, this polygroup across. It's got like a little fancy trick for that. Kind of cut a new polygroup there, and then I'll merge it into one group. Yeah, that is true. I don't watch a lot of the other live streams, but everybody's got their own techniques for working around the various bugs. All right, looks like we just need to flip this and reverse it. Oops, that wasn't right. To center my gizmo to the world. Flip it. Wait, no. That's not right. Let's see, flip it with dynamic turned off, or like local symmetry turned off. There, that did it. And then we can weld. Oops, that was the wrong way. And weld, okay, great. Z bugs or Z crash. Oh boy, I hope nobody from ZBrush is watching this right now. They're gonna be like, Ryan, come to the office right now. Talking too much smack. Okay, cool. Let's try to ZRemesh this, see what we get. Actually, I'm just gonna make one more cut. Try to help the polygroups stay like going in the right direction. All right, so let's turn on ZRemesh by polygroups and hit ZRemesh. Let's see what this does. Oh wait, I didn't have symmetry turned on. Let me redo that. Not too bad. A couple weird areas. Oh, what is going on there? You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint some areas to be a little denser. Oops, that's the wrong brush. So I want the fingers to be more dense, belly button. We're just going to smooth this out a little bit too. Let that transition go a little more smooth. Okay, cool. Now let's see remesh, see what we get. Nice. Yeah, yeah, looking great. Okay, cool. Yeah. So I throw one more edge loop in there and fix whatever's going on here. But other than that, it's pretty clean. That was pretty weird though, is there is something, actually, you know what, before I run the ZRemesh, I'm actually just gonna see if I can figure out what's going on in here first. Oh yeah, there's just something weird happening there. Just gonna delete it, fill it. Okay, so yeah, that should ZRemesh a lot more cleanly now. Boom. Looks great. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and save this because you never know when ZBugs is gonna Z crash. Just see a restart. There's also this weird, I don't know, annoyance with my Google Drive. So whenever I save from ZBrush to my Google Drive, It takes a long time to save, and I don't know why. Other software, when I saved my Google Drive, does not take a long time. But if I save from ZBrush to a location that's not my Google Drive, it goes quickly. So it's like the combination of ZBrush and Google Drive don't play nice together. All right, cool. So we've got a body going. Smooth this out a little bit more. Well, I'll worry about the anatomy of of that when I go to pose it because you can tell by the original art, you know, it's well, one arm is bending and the other not so much. So I guess I'll just cross that bridge when I get there. Okay, let's go ahead and do the same thing for the legs. A monster baby. Yeah, I mean these Garbage Pail Kids, they're pretty grotesque. I'm pretty surprised my mom let me have them when I was a kid. I was very confused actually. Why am I getting these grotesque things? I like it, but why? 80s are crazy. I mean, I was a kid in the 80s, and I remember the 50s, like 30 years earlier. Like of course, I wasn't alive then, but like all of the media and everything I learned about the 50s was like, oh, it was like this like very different time. But now looking back at the 80s, it's like, wow, the 80s were a very different time. Car. Is that a reference to the 80s? I'm not quite sure I get it. Hmm. Well, I was born in 1978, and I don't quite get the reference. Care to clue us in, Robin Hutchins? Hope that's leaving enough gap to. Okay, cool. I think they're two distinct circles. Kind of a tight fit with these toes here. Okay. Yeah, okay, I get your reference now. I thought that was like a quote from a movie or something. Car. Yeah. Yeah, that was totally a thing. And yeah, it's weird for me to think that, you know, children younger than me don't never didn't have the experience of like wandering around their neighborhood, without any parental supervision, which I did all the time. All right, let's see if we can fuse these toes without the toes getting fused to each other. We only need to do one of these feet and one set of toes, and then we just mirror it over. That's funny, Lavender. I played what was it, the Stick of Truth South Park RPG? Was that a different one? Was that I can't remember. Fractured but Whole? All right, let's see if it did this without accidentally fusing my pieces. Cool, it worked. Yeah, I'll have to play the new one. Um, I really like the first one and I like the show, so yeah, I'll have to give that second one a try. I've been playing Breath of the Wild lately. Tears of the Kingdom, yeah, I hear that's a good one, the sequel to Breath of the Wild. I haven't played it. I want to get through Breath of the Wild before I even think about another game right now. Well, actually, I have a friend that wants to play Warhammer 40,000 Darktide. Anybody play that? All right, let's go ahead and ZRemesh this. Oh yeah, first I want to fill it with white and then paint it. Give a little bit more density to the toes. Keep using the wrong brush for that. All right, looking good. Nothing to clean up really. Smooth it just a little bit. How was Vermintide? Thanks, Sheriff Mamuni. Yeah, I did think those cute toes came out pretty cute. puff this belly button up a little bit more. Okay, I think our base garbage pail kid is pretty close to being done. Let's see, next, let's see, I think I'll pose him and then put in the holes in the water. I am streaming only a part of my workspace, actually. Let me show you guys my entire workspace. Let me silence my alarm. Yeah, so I'm stretching my ZBrush interface across 3 monitors. So what you're seeing is my main monitor, but then my laptop screen, which is below, also has part of my UI, and then another like monitor off to the side has more of the UI. So let me show you guys what that looks like. Oh, something got messed up with my, I have to reset. I'll just take one moment here, and then I should be able to show the full, there we go. I think so. Wait, did it work? Okay, let me add another source here. Okay, I think you guys should be seeing that now. Oh, let me put this below my face. Okay, so this is my full ZBrush interface. And so yeah, you can see like off to the left, there's I got my Z tools, I got a bunch of interface stuff, and then down below, got a bunch of more interface stuff. So it's, yeah, stretched across 3 monitors. And yeah, I like having like all my buttons and sliders and everything that I use regularly just like up and visible, but not in my main screen, so I can like really focus on what I'm working on in one big screen. And a lot of the buttons you might be seeing are also custom interface stuff, like custom scripts and macros and my own plugin too. So actually, let me share a link to my plugin. So my plugin is a bunch of stuff that I've written over the years that really streamlines my workflow in ZBrush, and it makes me at least twice as fast. Every once in a while, I have to work on a computer that's not mine, doesn't have my plugin, and it just feels so slow, so sluggish. Get this garbage pail kid a little bit more going on in the front. Maybe he peed, and it's making the diaper bulge. Oh, that's cool. You already got it, Lavender. I've also been giving it away as like a prize for guessing what it is I'm working on. Of course, I can't do it this time because somebody already won for this one last week. But yes, keep coming to my live stream and you'll get chances to win copies of my plugin. But I highly recommend getting it, purchasing it anyway, because it's got a lot of really cool stuff in there. It's only $20 for the pro version, $5 for the hobbyist version, And then there's a free one, but that's like an older version from a few years ago. So yeah, get the new version. There's lots of cool stuff in it. Okay, cool. So I'm going to save this really quick. And all right, let's start posing him. So it's going to be pretty easy to pose the legs actually because I didn't fuse them to the body. Ah, crap. What did I just do? I went to separate the left and right leg and it actually split it in a way that was not intentional. Okay, cool. Oh yeah, the standard plus variant. I think that's the $5 version. The $20 version is great. It comes with a lot of cool extras like my custom gizmo, which you can see here. Comes with custom alphas and materials and brushes and all kinds of cool stuff. Okay, so let's just make a copy of that foot. So you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to save a copy of this, call it T-pose, so that after I pose, I can always come back to this like pure version. Yeah, the gizmo is a custom gizmo. You know, it I just have to dig around under the hood. So like every time ZBrush gives me an opportunity to tinker around in the guts, I go for it. So you can edit the gizmo file. It's just a 3D Z tool, right? And the different subtools are like the different arrows and like the move, rotate, scale um, controls. And so you just make sure that they stay in the right order, keep the right name, and keep the right color on them. And then you can change those 3D objects to anything you want, and you can change the gizmo that way. And so, yeah, over the course of like a couple months, I just kept, fine tuning it, refining it, and came up with the gizmo that I have now. I really like it. Okay, cool. So let's start posing this guy. And let's just bring back the standard canvas here. Some of these deformations are going to be a little weird at first. I'll just have to go through and do a lot of corrective sculpting. trying to get this hand lined up so that I'll be able to put like a glass in his hand so he's drinking. But part of the thing of like 2D illustrations like this is like it's easy to cheat the anatomy to just kind of make it look like, it's lined up to where the a glass could be held right up to the mouth, but like in 3D, you realize it's not actually in the right position in space for that, so you kind of have to cheat things, which is, that's all part of the process of doing this. I think I might even like cheat the whole torso a little bit. Kind of like tilt his body a little bit to kind of bring that up closer to the mouth. And then also that thumb, it's like totally attached to the hand in a different way. So, well, I'll see how far I can push it. I might also have to deviate a little bit from the original concept in order to make something that looks right in 3D. All right, let's put a glass up to his lips. I'll have to tilt the head back a little too. One of the things I've learned making figurines with 3D printing is that a lot of times, um, you know, if the head is kind of looking more forward, it looks great on your screen because, you're looking at the sculpt face on, and it's like, okay, it's looking at you, I'm looking at it, or you're looking at it, it's looking at you, looks great. But when you print it out and you set it on your desk or like on a shelf or a table or something, it's at a lower level, right? You're not at eye level with it most of the time. And so you're looking down at it. And so it always looks like their heads are too like pointed too low. So I find that it's really helpful to angle heads up more than you think they should be. So they're looking up. That way, when they're sitting on a table or a shelf or something and you look down at them, they're kind of looking up at you, and it feels more natural that way. So yeah, we've got a little bit of a puzzle to solve to get that hand up to that glass. Maybe I'll have the glass not tilted quite so much. I've had a kind of a struggle with clients sometimes when I've had freelance jobs making figurines and stuff, and I'll rotate the head up because that's where it's going to look better. And they're like, no, it doesn't look right. The head's is tilted back too much. I'm like, well, when it prints out, you'll see. It'll make sense. So it's looking up at you, and they're like, no, it looks wrong. And they're like, I demand that you move the head back down. And I'm like, okay. And then they get it printed out, and they're like, the head looks like it's looking down too much. Fix it. And I'm like, okay. So, how do you increase the mask selection with the keyboard? We got a question from Agushmar. There is under masking. Um, Actually, that's part of Ryan's tools, my plugin. Plugin, Ryan's tools. Where is that? Masking. So I've got these buttons for grow mask, shrink mask once, grow mask once, and then also like grow mask live. And so if we hit this, boom, it's just gonna like go, and then whenever I hit escape, that's where it's gonna stop. And then I can also shrink live. Um, so I've assigned those to hotkeys basically. So it's like kind of like forward and reverse to increase or decrease, and then fast forward, fast reverse. It can be tedious to like grow that mask and just slowly like hit the button a million times to like shrink the mask back. So you just wait till it's where you want it to be and hit escape and it stops. So just trying to find where it makes sense to put this hand where it's not super awkward and kind of fits the pose. I'm going to move this glass a little bit more to the side. All right, let's see if I can position that thumb without it being too weird. Okay, yeah, I think this is gonna work. Kind of stretch that out a little bit. Let's see, is that too weird? Hmm, it's okay. It's gonna take a little massaging, but I think it's all right. Be nice if there was a really cool posing system within ZBrush. I can't remember the name of it, but there's like this AI-based posing system that's like recently released where you just grab on, like say you grab the hand and you pull it, and like the whole body will lean as if you would like grab the hand of a real person who was just standing there and kind of pulled them to the side. Like they shift their balance like totally naturally. It's not Character Creator. Character Creator does plug into ZBrush, and it does let you pose way more easily. But this other one was like AI based. It was an animation software actually, and so you could just like say you grab the foot and pull it out, the whole body is going to shift its pose to like stay in balance. So it just reposes the whole body based on where you want that foot to be. Is really great. Oh, that was weird. Oh, I know what the problem is. My eyes are instance objects. I lock those in. Okay. Oops. Ah, eh, little glitch with the transpose. It was moving everything. And then when I went to undo it, it only undid some of them. Okay. I think I got it where I want it to be now. Yeah, I agree, Lavender. Um, AI, it's really good at getting something that looks like pretty good right off the bat, but it's never like exactly what I want. And then the fight to get it to do exactly what I want takes so much effort that I might as well just make it myself from scratch anyway. But I don't know, maybe it'll get better eventually. But that's kind of the one of the traps to fall into is like when something looks polished, it makes you feel like it's done and like it's good when it's not necessarily right. And that I've had that same issue, like especially when I was learning to render. I'd throw some lights in and hit render, and I'd have some, shadows that were physically accurate and believable, and it kind of tricks you into thinking, oh, okay, well, this is done because it looks believable. But like, there's a difference between lighting that's actually like working aesthetically and lighting that's believable. And it's easy to feel like, oh, I'm done before I'm actually done making it look good, but just because it looks believable. And I feel like there's a similar problem with AI, and it can trick you into thinking it's good when it just looks polished. Yeah, that's true about the AI 3D models. If you zoom in on them at all, they absolutely look like garbage. Um, but that's the way 2D images in AI looked just 2 years ago. And now they look polished, if not good. All right, I'm done playing around with that hand for now. Let's move on to the other one. So in this one, he's got his arm turned like forward. So we're seeing the back of his hand. That might be a little awkward, and I actually kind of like the palm up because it's a little bit more like performative, if that makes any sense. Like he's on a Broadway stage and he's like just stretching his arm out. This hand, with seeing the back side of the hand, is a little weird. So I might cheat it and just say, you know what? My idea for posing is better than the original art. Yeah, I mean, for me, like the human touch is everything when it comes to art. Like that's the whole point of doing it, is that there was human touch. If there's not human touch, like honestly, like what is the point of art? And I think a lot of people are missing the point when they're. I mean, I think AI is super cool from a technical point of view. Like, wow, look at what computers can do now. Uh, and a lot of it is actually quite convincing. Like if I didn't know that AI art was a real thing and I saw a lot of these pictures, I'd be like, wow, a very talented artist. Spent a lot of time making this. It's very impressive. Um, but a human artist didn't spend a lot of time making it. And although it's technically impressive, there wasn't a human that had the experience of going through the effort to make that art. And that means that it's really not as valuable, I don't think. I think the real value of art is in the process of making it and less so in the end result. Although the end result can be shown to other people and other people can have like a sense of connection to it, which is great. But if somebody didn't have the experience of going through making it, I mean that's where the magic is really. Anybody who's made art knows that feeling you get when you put the effort and time into creating something, and to like let a machine do that for you is kind of insane. Well, let's just see what it looks like if we turn this arm around. Yeah, I just don't like it as much. I like his arm being more open. Sorry, whoever illustrated this one. You should have had the arm open instead of closed. Don't worry, I'm fixing it for you. Do you know Art Spiegelman, the famous comics artist, started Garbage Pail Kids? He also illustrated and wrote the classic graphic novel Mouse. Yeah, it's usually not hard to see if something is AI or not, but every once in a while it does surprise me. Yeah, so for doing the holes, it's actually going to be pretty easy. I'm just going to use some Boolean cylinders and give the body thickness, and it's just going to cut those holes right in. It's actually super convenient for 3D printing because the drainage holes are just built into it. Bend that arm back a little bit. There we go. Now he's, hello, my baby. Hello, my darling. Hello, my ragtime gal. Yeah, what do you guys think? Oops. Try to compare the poses. I'm going to do a little bit of finessing to the arm. It's a little wonky, but other than that, I like it much better. When you say the left arm could use some tweaking, you mean screen left or character left? That's the funny thing I have with all my clients too, is some of my clients, well, I have to learn like what they mean by left and right. Some of them, when they say left and right, they're referring to screen left and right, and others refer to character left and right. And you know, like I don't want to force my clients to be like, make sure you're always referring to screen left, right, or character left and right. I tend to think in character left and right, um, but a lot of my clients, that's not the way their brains work, and so I just remember from client to client which way that they think about things, and just make sure I'm speaking the way they speak. Feet are pretty symmetrical, but I'm just going to put a little bit of asymmetry in them just to make it more interesting. Make this one stand a little straighter. Yeah, that's so true, Lavender. Oftentimes I'll be working and they'll be like, "Oh no, that's not right." And I'm like, "I haven't even started yet. Come on. Like give me a little bit of time to actually like create what you want before you start critiquing, huh?" There's a great I'm not even gonna try to quote it. I'm just gonna try to see if I can find it and share it with everybody. This really great let's see. What would I even call it? Yeah, here we go. See if I can put this on the screen. Here's my price list. We design everything, 500. We design you watch, 800. We design you advise, 1,000. And then all the way down to you design everything, 7,500, which is totally true. I mean, it feels like a joke, but like literally the more a client helps, the more expensive it has to be because the more they just get in the way. Good clients know when to get out of the way and just let a creative person do their job. Hi, Cho. Good morning to you. All right, so let's start putting in some holes into the body. Obviously, it's not like, I mean, there's more tweaking that can be done, but it's because we're keeping the holes as separate Boolean objects, it's going to be really easy to keep those Boolean objects in place and still allow changes to be made. Okay, so let's see, let's make this a subtraction object. Turn on live Booleans, and now we just need to give the body some thickness. Just make sure it has the right amount of thickness and it's going inwards. And there's also like some, because some of these parts of the body are thin, then the inside passes through to the outside, which is a little annoying, but we can decrease the amount of thickness. Actually, that's pretty good right there. Nice. Cool. So now all I have to do is just draw a bunch of cylinders on this body. I'm going to try out a, um, a new part of my Ryan's tools that I haven't really used much, but we're gonna see how this works. Um, let's see, we'll turn off live Boolean. It's gonna be a like, quick way to attach these parts. Let's see how this works. Okay, so if I hold down Alt, click and drag the gizmo from a point on the cylinder to a point on the body, and then hit, oh, what was it? How did I write this? I haven't used it in a minute. Oh, that wasn't it. I don't know if this is in the latest version I've released to the public yet. Did I even put it in here? Maybe it's in my macros. It's like a snap to surface. So you can snap one object to another object. Snap surface. Here we go. Oh yeah. Okay, cool. That was it. And then you can just push it in, set the size. Then I'll make a duplicate of that one. Alt, drag the gizmo. Control Alt Shift S is what my macro was. Wait, why isn't it working? Let's try this again. Yeah, there we go. It's a new feature I'm working on for the next version of Ryan's tools. And it actually works great. I don't think there's any bugs to work out. I just had to remind myself because it's been a minute since I've used it. And some of them are kind of already pretty close to where they need to be, so I don't have to worry too much about like making it a separate object. Let's see, I think I'll make it so right now I have to manually hit another button to have the gizmo snap to the center of where the subtool gets snapped to. I'll just add that as so it just does that automatically. But otherwise, it's pretty much ready for prime time. So yeah, be on the lookout for a new version of Ryan's tools. Let's see how this is looking. Nice. So yeah, just gonna keep doing that all the way around. A couple weird things that happen, when you add that thickness and some of the inner parts kind of crunch together, but it shouldn't be too hard to deal with. There's actually a smoothness slider, which can help alleviate a lot of problems with that. And then some of these holes have stopper plugs in them. So that's an interesting little twist. Probably just put stoppers in and then sculpt that kind of bulge around them. But first I'll just get all the holes in. That's weird. Why isn't this cylinder causing the cutout? I've got it set up as a subtraction object. That's strange. It is a trypophobia. And now I'm just adding some in that aren't visible in the original art, but yeah, you internalize the pattern and you can figure out where everything else should go. That is true. I'm not AI. Organic intelligence. I'm not really convinced artificial intelligence is even a really thing. Have you tried to use a Google Home, the Google Assistant lately? It's more like artificial stupidity. You don't need AI for bad jokes. Like they're easy enough to come up with on your own, you know? Oh, I know why those ones weren't working. Is because the legs are a separate object, in a separate folder. Well, let's just put some on the head now. And a few of them will probably have to be adjusted. Like, I don't like the angle at which this one's going in. That's better. Hey, Lavender. Yeah, I am going to print this guy. Make sure he's watertight. Did you have to use your Google Home Assistant to come up with that? Me and my brother, we grew up cracking each other up by trying to make the worst jokes possible, like intentionally bad jokes. And in retrospect, that was not a great skill to learn because I think my sense of humor is like I intentionally make bad jokes, and sometimes people just think I suck at making jokes. But it's that like there's something funny to me about an intentionally joke. I mean, I like really good jokes too, but I'll make intentionally bad jokes sometimes, and people don't get that I'm like that I know it's a bad joke. Oh, bee sting. Hey, Tatoon. All right, I'm just going to take a moment, look at that concept again. Okay, okay, not bad. Just have to get the water splashing out, get the plugs, the stoppers in, water pouring into the mouth, put some eyelashes, eyebrows, dimple. Yeah, and that'll be enough to do for next time. So I'll just start on some of that stuff here. Let's see. We'll get the water pouring into the mouth. How about that? All right, so I used the glass as an object for um, generating the water inside of it. And yeah, just setting it up so I can just pull out this water and have it pour right in the mouth. Right in the mouth. Not quite. Close enough. Yeah, I like the arm, his left arm, like outstretched and open and like that, much more than the original art. Because he's like in the sculpture I made, the way I pose it, it's much more like, hey, look at me, I'm full of holes. And the original art is like way more restrained, and it's actually kind of mystifying why this pose was chosen in the original art. I guess they were under pressure, under deadline. Okay, so we've got a lot of stuff to do next time. The stoppers, the water, blah blah blah. And I want to render it too. So that'll be fun to set up lights and do rendering, or maybe I'll do like a non-photoreal rendering too. We'll play around with that. But anyway, that's yeah, that's just about the end of my time today. So thanks for joining me, everybody. It was a lot of fun. Next week, it's gonna be Thursday, not Friday. So next week, if you want to see the rest of this, tune in Thursday, same time, but on Thursday. So yeah, we'll keep working on this. Thanks a lot for joining me, everybody. See you next time. Bye.